So hips and legs are a little low. Your head is low, so that part is fixed. Maybe there's something we could see with the actual kick mechanics. Good push off. Your extension is pretty good. With the right hand, you're reaching in front of your head, which is not ideal. Ideally, you would extend each hand directly in front of the corresponding shoulder. Your left is going inward a little bit as well. So what happens when you go inward and start your pull from there is you use more bicep and pec, and if you pull from in line with the shoulder or just wide of the shoulder, you'll use more lat and tricep. And you really want to use your back as much as possible. The streamline is pretty good. So a couple of fixes there. We'll talk about the pull when we get to the underwater section. So what you look for here is either a lack of rotation or too much rotation, as well as do your hips and legs stay in the same line as your upper body and torso. So your rotation is fine. In open water, your hands might be a little low on the recovery. By improving your extension, that will take care of some of that. And your hips and legs are staying in the same line as your upper body, so you're fine there. So what you can see here is, see your hands enter and then they extend in front of your head, and then they start pulling from there or slide off just to the side. We're going to improve that a little bit, as well as... Alright, so here we can see that your hips and legs were a little low, and your stroke turnover rate was kind of on the higher side. We talked about really working on the extension, each stroke, stretching out as much as possible. Also worked on extending those hands in front of the shoulder, like at 11:30 and 12:30 or 11 and 1 positions. And, you're getting some of the vertical forearm or the catch with these strokes. As we went through the session, you certainly improved it. And I put some freeze frames of one arm drill towards the end of the video. But your stroke here is not bad, right? So it's just a matter of improving a handful of things. The extension, the amount of catch you get with the vertical forearm. And one thing I noticed was that working on the extension actually helped with your finish of the stroke. It's kind of a counterbalance where you'll tend to push all the way through, because on these you are finishing slightly early. Your hand is coming out around your hip, which from my viewpoint is earlier than necessary. Head position is good, although you want to make sure that your head kind of stays level, whereas right now it tends to be a little low, like all the way under the water sometimes. You don't want that. Alright, and then here you can see that your stroke path is fine, no problem there. It's just that your hands are going to the middle and starting to pull from that point. So move the hands in front of the shoulder. So I'm having you actually look to see where your hands are reaching to, see if they're reaching in front of your head, and they're not, so you're doing good there. It was good. You can do it with your head still in the water as much as possible. Okay. But yeah, it's definitely better. There you go. And so after you get the feel for it while you're watching, then ideally, one day you can do the same motion without having to look. Much better extension, and hand position at the start. There we go. So, still working on the extension and hand position without checking visually quite as much. Much better. Your body position has improved. You can see your feet are higher in the water. So I think you're getting more thrust with each stroke. Fantastic. So your hands are going to have a tendency to go in to the center, so just be aware of that. One more, trying to think about where the hands are at the start. The head is staying level as well. The right hand wants to drift into the center more so than the left. Alright, so doing some one-arm drill, trying to think about the early vertical forearm position, getting that scoop on the water. Very good. Excellent. So when you're viewing from above the water like this, if you see the hand and forearm sort of disappear from our viewpoint, that means something is going right because they're going vertical, representing less. That was good. Because you're seeing less surface area from this vantage point. Good. All right, you're getting it. All right, so one arm drill. There you can see a very pronounced vertical forearm. Nicely done. For this go through, your strokes were a little high, or your elbow was closer to the surface of the water than necessary, so you can dig deeper with your hand and forearm, especially, notice that the vertical forearm aspect is great, just go deeper. Something we noticed when you worked on the extension was that your hips and legs actually came up somewhat, and the time may have been faster right away just as a result of that. But you're doing a really good job with the vertical forearm. That's one of the hardest things about technical freestyle swimming. We talked about internally rotating the shoulder after you fully extend, so it's a little bit of a weird feeling, but that's the motion. This is the go-through where you went deeper, and you can see hand and forearm going deeper in the water. From my opinion, this is going to be a stronger position. You get to use your back as well as a little bit of the front muscles, whereas when you're really high in the water, or if your elbow is very high towards the surface, you're not able to utilize your muscles as well as possible. So definitely better. That right arm could still go a little deeper, and it may go deeper as your normal swimming, right? Because you're going to be going side to side. Shawn, try to let a little more bend at the knee, so you still generate from the hip, but allow your knee to be a little looser. somewhere in between those two is the right answer. Alright, that's it. Yeah, so in your swimming and workouts and all that. Shawn, that's it right there. That's good. Do at least, if you're swimming 2,000 yards, do at least 100 yards of just kicking, just like this, just to work on the feel of it. In the race, you won't kick, much, but you want to have a technically correct kick. All right. So, fist with paddle. The idea here is to get more feedback on the pressure on your forearms. When you're doing that vertical forearm, your hand has all the sense, but your forearm has a lot of surface area. So we got to be just aware of the pull. Good. Yep. Be aware of the amount of surface area power you get out of those forearms, basically. So this would be a drill, you warm up, do 6x50s of drill, a couple of them one arm, one or two of these, maybe that catch-up drill I described, and then a dog paddle. Doing some dog paddle, very good. Yeah, so getting that good long reach, and then thinking about scooping as well as we can. So it slows down the stroke. You can watch what you're doing. This is a strength drill as well as a technique drill, so very good. You could use fins with this or the buoy. As you get better and better at it, you won't need either. Alright, so doing 125 of catch-up drill. Very good. So we were talking about how to improve the stroke technique of the arm on the opposite side of the direction you breathe. Right, so this is how you would learn to delay the initiation of the stroke. Very good. So these are the still frames of that second go round of one arm drill, just so you get a kind of slow motion look. Your hand leads through a little bit there, which is fine, and then you get a nice vertical forearm. Could be a little more vertical early on, but this is just one grab of that that section, so that was pretty good. Generally speaking, you want your hand and forearm to be about the same line, whereas on this one, your hand takes more of a pitch than the forearm. Not bad, just something to think about, that the hand and forearm work together. Again, this was like one go through. That's still a pretty good catch right there. The hand is pitched upwards a little more than it needs to be. But you keep working on that drill and you're going to be in good shape. I hope that helps.